I can't see the video at all.
Natarajan sir, can you hear us? Maybe he must be rejoining. So let's just hold on.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll just replay the video. Yeah, he's joining back. Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, can we start?
Perfect. Yes, you can take over.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to people from US, from Australia, and good evening for people across the Atlantic. Welcome to this exciting session powered by Crowd Product, the new age technology partners for people engagement. Today, we have chosen a very exciting topic that is about Generation C. Generation C, and how technology can be used to improve efficiencies at workplace. Uh, Generation C was a very new term for me, and I was wondering what it is all about. I thought I was getting confused with the millennials and Generation Z and all that. Uh, and when I read up, I realized that Generation C is not about age, it is not about geography, it is not even about interest. It crosses all, it is beyond all that. It is people who share interests, who share a thought process, who share um, hobbies, who share activities. And yeah, the key operative word is the thought process. And how do they do it? They stay connected. And technology plays a very, very important role in staying connected. So Generation C is generation connected, not generation COVID, which I thought it was. And it is generation connected. So it is across age groups, those who have used technology wonderfully to stay connected, to transact their daily life using technology, and to interact with each other across the globe, across boundaries using technology. And I'm sure we are in the age of technology and most of us relate to it. And so today we have some excellent speakers, three excellent speakers to talk about this and how they have used technology to address the needs of Generation C, predominantly Generation C, and address others also in the organization or in the workspace. So we'll start with Mary. Mary comes from 2 decade experience as content marketer. She has experience with organized brands like Google, um, uh, G Capital, and various multinational organizations across the globe. Her core strength is content marketing, and she's currently working with Zozo Day as the vice president content marketer. And Zozo Day has been a pioneer in creating using technology for people engagement. When I say people engagement, I don't restrict it to employee engagement, even though they have created portals specific for that. But their scope of engagement goes beyond just employees, but beyond with all the people who interact and who transact with an organization. So, without much details from my side, I would hand over to Mary. Mary, I would like to understand from you, how have you used technology for engagement, people engagement, and how has Zozo created that wonderful tool?
Thank you, Natarajan. I'll answer your question in a bit. So,
Yeah.
a lovely Saturday morning to everyone, and thank you for making it to this session. And today I'll be covering a very critical aspect, and I would say it's like our own story of success at Zozo Day. And I'm sure that a lot of companies that are probably going to be designing their future workplaces. And I know that the buzzword right now is hybrid. So I'm going to touch up on a few things that you can do to see success similar to what we've done. So at Zozo Day, what's important for us is how do we put human motivation at the center of business growth. And by human motivation, we are talking about every human aspect that interacts with a company. And it's not just limited to employees. So we can think about channel partners, we can think about our customers, we can think about the partners who work with us. Everyone is motivated when you understand what motivates them, and then you deliver, those things that can keep them motivated with whatever work they do. So I am specifically aligned to the product Impulse, which caters to employee engagement for employees. But our other two products, Plum and Compass, cater to a large set of audience, and it's not restricted to any single type, whether it is customers or just employees. There are so many use cases that are possible. But today I'll touch upon Impulse because the topic today focuses on how companies can keep their people, the connected workforce, engaged in this new hybrid world of work. So, having said that, some of the things that we've done successfully is before the pandemic started, we were using our platform to engage with employees within the company. But I don't think we were using it as religiously as we wanted it to. But the moment the pandemic set in, there were a few things that we started doing. One is we moved all of our onboarding process online, digital process, without compromising on the experience part of it, where people don't feel like I'm not talking to someone, I'm not sure if they're really welcoming me, if they feel that they'll feel a part of the company. So I didn't feel that because I joined during the pandemic and I had an amazing onboarding experience. So the platform really helped me engage with the entire company because we are able to know people, we are able to connect with people, recognize people, and there is no limit to the kind of connectivity that's possible through the platform. But having said that, the different types of technology that we invested in during this period was how do we improve the experience for employees? How do we keep our employees engaged? By engaged, I mean, how do you make sure they are connected? We are able to communicate at a wide scale. How do you keep them motivated? And most importantly, listening to employees, understanding what their problems are, getting their inputs at the right time so that we can fix problems before they go and affect the entire company culture. And then making sure that everyone is aligned to the goals of the company. And last but not the least, making sure that there is focus on employee wellness physically and mentally.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell what we did during the pandemic, and that's our success story.
Excellent. Excellent. I have a couple of questions here. See,
Sure.
let's for a moment keep aside the other partners and other people who the organization engages. Let's take the core, the employees. Employee engagement traditionally has been seen as one-to-one, face-to-face, and also informal engagements like having a lunch together or meeting up over the coffee machine, the way where you go to have a coffee,
The water cooler
uh,
moments.
water cooler moments. Yeah, exactly. So these things are informal but are very powerful, and there is a, tremendous connect which happens in these moments, and and builds relationships, right? So apart pandemic has been a catalyst, but I think we are definitely moving towards a situation where hybrid working is going to be the reality. There are going to be people who are going to be working remote, not just in the IT services industry, but also in most of the industries. People are going to work remote. The physical contact, face-to-face interaction, the touch and feel, like if you want, it may not be really appropriate touch and feel, but then what I'm trying to say is the human interaction is definitely impacted, reduced to a large extent when we interact over the Zoom call or over a video call. So how is this addressed? Like it can be very challenging, it can be daunting, and especially for people, some people who come with the mindset that no, this is employee engagement has to be face to face. Then how do we address that? How does Impulse address that?
So two things. I think one is making sure that whatever you were doing before the pandemic also has
Yep.
to now be relevant, and what you were doing during the pandemic also has
Hmm.
to be relevant, which means you
Okay.
have to have a two-pronged approach, right?
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
where your physical employees who are coming to work because of certain constraints are getting
Yeah.
the same experience as the people who are sitting at home and
Hmm.
continue to work from home, right? Which means your culture, your company culture now have to reflect in both places. And that is
Okay.
where Impulse helps. So you take your
Okay.
culture and you showcase it in every aspect of work that you do. When you're
Hmm.
communicating, you're talking about how people are displaying your values. For
Hmm.
example, somebody has made sure that a project was done within timelines and got appreciation from the customer. Highlight
Hmm.
it in your
Okay.
forum. Or if you are seeing that uh, somebody needs to be recognized and you're not waiting for your manager to recognize, but you are empowered to recognize, go ahead
Wonderful.
and call them out, right? So
Okay.
making sure that your culture is mirroring in both places. That's when, even when someone who's been working from home for a year now decides to come to the office, he doesn't see a difference. He sees the
Okay.
same kind of culture there, right? And then most importantly, I think understanding that the gym that was in the office
Yes.
also has to be available to the person who's working at home, which means give them those gym subscriptions so that they can go to
Yeah.
anywhere to keep themselves physically fit, or give them those opportunities to keep themselves mentally fit. So everything that you had available on your, in your physical office now can be available, and technology is enabling that. So every aspect of culture needs to be thoughtfully designed for the hybrid workforce. And that's where HR and people leaders need to really put their minds and work together.
That's wonderful. So this thought, like I'm just taking the example of the gym. Like yes, the gym facility, the health and fitness facility was available in the workplace, and you have decided to extend it to the remote location by providing subscription at a nearest gym, so that that continuity is there, and when the person comes back to a physical location or working from office, if need be, he has access to the same kind of resources and facilities. So this would this extend to even the team lunches and coffees, and how does it work?
Correct. I think this has successfully been executed, at least at Impulse. Is
Okay.
we made sure that we don't have Zoom meetings or any technology for that matter for meetings not just for work. We have a Friday where we are doing Thank God It's Friday, where
Right.
we are ordering meals together and we are eating together while watching each other. It's as
Oh,
close
wonderful.
to a team lunch, right? But
As
making
close.
sure that we are all safe. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's something that has been wonderful for us. And we are all spread in different cities, but for that 1 hour, it felt like we were all together in one place.
together. Yes, yes. And other employee engagement activities like celebrating festivals, birthdays, and successes. How do you use technology to enable that?
So for birthdays, we do something that's, it's not restricted to a team. I know that when we were in the physical office, only that specific team would celebrate a person's birthday. But with
Yeah.
automation in Impulse, the wishes go to the person whose birthday it is on that day, but the entire company knows that it's that person's birthday. So today, we are not restricted by a team. Everyone is sending wishes. Like, for example, on my birthday, I got wishes from almost 150 people, and that's a
Oh,
wonderful
wonderful.
feeling.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
feeling.
And then you have personal wishes coming up. It's not just the card, it's not just, those claps, but people
Yeah, yeah.
actually giving and sending you personal messages. That makes all the difference.
Very true, very true. In fact, possibly in the in-person situation, the number of wishes may be restricted to your immediate team and not the entire
Correct.
organization. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So that's like, and frankly, I feel this addresses the emotional as well as the physical health of an individual, right? Working in an organization. The gym part is something which you mentioned, and these engagements, which keep a person very motivated and happy. He feels comfortable and comfortable space where he or she is working, right? But is this hybrid model, like how do you feel organizations should, what kind of a strategy they should adopt to include the hybrid model, and how important it is for the organization?
I think it's immensely important because today, COVID or working during COVID has changed fundamentally how organizations function. Earlier, organizations were never open to the concept of working from home. But today, everyone, whether it was by force or by choice, we have all moved online. And I
Yes.
think today, leaders and employees both are open to the word flexibility in the true sense. Today,
Yes.
there is no limit to the amount of flexibility, and that's what people leaders really need to think about. How do we incorporate flexibility? Second thing is, how do we make sure that the employee touch points at every step in their life cycle is delivering amazing experiences so that in this time when people are trying to think or evaluate, did my company take care of me? Do I stay with the company or do I switch over to another company that can take better care of me? So it means that you really have to keep your talent pool in place by making sure that every experience you deliver is amazing. And that's where employee experience platforms really help because you're able to get feedback from directly from the employees to understand what they felt about a certain step in their journey. For example, let's say there was a performance review that happened. How did the employee feel? Did the manager really help them understand their career path? Or did they understand what are the learning opportunities available to them? And then take that feedback and go back and actually take action. And then again track and see, did the organization make progress on the last feedback given by the employee? So that's the
Wonderful.
first thing. And the second thing is, how do we make sure that we prioritize employee well-being? By well-being here, again, it's both mental and physical. And I think COVID really helped us understand that it was not just important to give someone an insurance or give someone a gym facility. You also needed to give them access to a doctor who's available on an app on the mobile phone. It's important to have access to probably apps that help you relieve stress, that help you meditate, or give you access to a mental health doctor, right? And these were crucial times when these kind of things really helped. And in the future, they're going to be all the more important. And lastly, the entire gamut of things that come under the umbrella of employee engagement. So, how do you communicate with employees, keep them connected? How do you keep them motivated? By not just saying that you've done a good job, but also saying that, hey, you know what? You have an amazing value system that you've displayed at work. So, how do we do that? You connect your company values with recognition and then tell employees, hey, you been really displaying the right kind of attitude and we love that. Or you've exceeded expectations and we want to really highlight that so others understand what it means to exceed expectations. And then lastly, understanding what are the goals that you need to work towards and be able to take control of your own career, of your own performance. And at the same time, making sure employees have a way to share their voice, their concerns, their ideas, so that the organization moves together as one cohesive unit and not just by the leaders, because employees are the key to business growth. And if you take care of them, they will come back and take care of you three more times than what you expect from them.
Very,
I think
very,
those
very
are the four important pieces here.
wonderful, wonderful. COVID personally, I feel has been an accelerator and not the, or a catalyst and not the cause for us to move from in-person situation to a hybrid situation. I think it was long overdue. We needed to get into this model of flexibility and work-life balance, which contributes to the health of the organization as well as health of the individual, which are both of which are very, very closely interlinked. And from what you're saying, technology can make certain things much more efficient than they were before the hybrid model came in. Like you said,
correct.
tracking the performance management and what kind of feedback happened in the last meeting, whether it has been acted upon. Tracking that using technology makes it much more efficient, and that's how your portal will work. And Mary, would you like to share some visuals or a video which can showcase what Impulse has been doing?
Yes, definitely. So,
Yeah.
Sai, there's a video that I want you to play now.
Sure.
And this, in a nutshell, in 1.5 minutes, we get to understand the platform in detail.
Thanks, Sai. Thanks, Mary. And I would like to inform the viewers that in case you want to get more inputs from Mary or you would like to talk to her, reach out to her, you can always click on the contact button and reach out, and Mary would be more than willing to help and give more additional inputs, either for yourself or for the organization or general Gyan.
Thank you, Natarajan. And I look forward to taking any questions or if people would like to reach out to me personally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mary. Thanks a lot for being with us today and giving us valuable insights. And now we would move on to the next speaker. Uh, I'm very amused and very impressed by the next speaker. He's perhaps the youngest in the group, and maybe there are 4 decades between him and me. Uh, but very insightful. And like I said, Generation C is not about the age, it is not about the demographics, it is about sharing common interest and staying connected. So I would introduce Shrey. Shrey is a 11th grader pursuing business and economics and an avid sports enthusiast. He calls himself talkative. I would call him very articulate and a very interesting conversationalist. He has done some pioneering work during the COVID times to engage people in the age group of 5 to 15 in good health and fitness. And he's a podcaster and he has a library of podcasts in his pocket. So, with that, I would ask Shrey to talk about his journey during the pandemic and how he used technology to connect and to reach out and help.
Hi, Mr. Natarajan. Firstly, thank you so much for that interview. Honestly, overwhelmed to be here. And to answer your question, I feel since I had been in school throughout my life, we weren't really exposed to technology as much. I did have a laptop, I had my phone, but I was never, stuck to it 24/7 for all my activities. I was someone who was very outgoing, always playing in school, after school, in the evenings. So it was a restless period of time for me pre-COVID. But the moment
Hmm.
everything shifted online, it was a sudden shift for everyone and it was hard to adjust essentially in the beginning. So primarily we are just all sitting on online classes staring into a screen after going from that lively fun classroom experience. So it was hard to
Yes,
focus, it was hard to engage yourself entirely. But as to how I've
correct.
taken it to my advantage is that despite a lot of the things that it blocked out for me, like my sports, meeting my friends, and just all the activity, it opened new doors because now I could talk to them at any time I wanted. I could meet more than just my friends now that I'm online. I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity to be here if it wasn't for the online scenario. So I feel the online
Yeah,
scenario I've used virtually in terms of meetings, in terms of all the like features it provides, like for example, the podcast that you mentioned wouldn't have been something I could have undertaken pre-COVID. But now that everything's online, I have bought myself a lot of time and a lot of resources that are readily available to everyone to use. And I think just prioritizing your work and using those available online resources to your full capabilities will just help you transform how you've looked at the pandemic.
wonderful, wonderful. So you also subscribe to the idea that the pandemic was a catalyst, and you ultimately were using technology to move on. Wonderful. I gather that you have done uh, pioneering work during the pandemic to help people of a specific age group to keep themselves physically active and fit. And perhaps you derived it from your own experience of being locked up in a room. So, can you tell us briefly about what was it and how did you go about it? How did the thought process come, and how did you execute it?
Sure. So, like mentioned, since I was always playing and running, and my life was very physically dominating and demanding.
Hmm,
And all of a
hmm,
sudden, I was stuck at home, and my parents saw how restless I was. I wasn't able to
hmm,
run, I wasn't able to play, and just sitting on my chair the entire day. But
hmm.
it struck me then, and a few of my seniors, that what are we doing is what everyone else is doing. Everyone
Yes,
else is stuck at home, everyone else is idle without their physical activities. And to a greater importance, the age group of say 5 to 15, the youth, even the younger people, a lot of them who haven't even become teenagers yet, are
yes,
definitely blocking themselves out from the physical activity. As a 16-year-old now, if I'm stuck at home, if I'm restricted to the things online, there is a lot of studies, internship work, and college applications I can work on. With the 5 to 10 to 12 age group, they don't have these things. Their life mostly comprises of a little bit of schoolwork and playing and having fun. And this was they were really being deprived of this. And at that age, for them, playing is an excuse for physical fitness, but they don't understand
yes,
the importance of staying physically fit, which
very
definitely affects you and benefits you in many ways over time. So we saw that need for physical fitness, and it hadn't been done before for a younger age group. It is always done for the
yes,
adults, online classes and
true,
everything. So
true.
we formed an organization called COVID Fit Club, where we
Hmm,
use the Zoom, we use virtual meetings as a platform to conduct fitness sessions for kids from the age bracket of 5 to 15 in different batches, including fitness classes, dance classes, and yoga classes. And we took a paid monthly subscription based on how many classes you'd want. And we donated all our proceeds to Barefoot College and Mitti Cafe that are at the
Okay.
forefront of donating to the COVID relief. And this really helped not only me, but the students as well, because now we were able to take weekly classes. I myself was taking classes with the kids. And firstly, it was not only an excuse for me to engage in physical fitness, it was also a way for me to develop my skills while I taught youngsters myself. And youngsters
Yes.
enjoyed it because they didn't look at us as teachers, but as, elder brothers, peers. And it was
Yeah.
just a fun process where we spent an entire year and we raised over 8 lakhs just teaching kids about fitness in various
Excellent.
formats.
Excellent. And you have been covered by Times of India also.
Times of India, Indian Express, Discovery Channel, many other articles as well, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Would you like to share a video of this Discovery Channel coverage?
Yeah, sure. I think
Yeah.
Mr. Sai has a
Yeah.
video
Sai,
prepared for me.
would you like to?
Fitness enthusiasts in
So
Bengaluru
that
pulled out the younger generation from boredom and negativity by giving them the choice of an active lifestyle.
More than a pandemic, it was also a mental pandemic. We were all just stuck at home. So with home workouts and all of that, and I said, why not just do this for a community? So that was the beginning of COVID Fit Club.
We started with cardio exercises mostly, and now we have diversified to include strength building, dance fitness, yoga, and dietary plans in our fitness regimes.
COVID Fit Club, on one hand, benefit the mental and physical health of our students, and on the other hand, we can essentially donate to COVID relief. As of now, we've raised over 5.5 lakhs.
I feel that fitness is extremely fun, and teaching it makes me even happier.
We have really grown a lot with this key motivation. We really want to pursue this further, possibly growing to as large as we can in the future.
जब कोई एक मदद के लिए आगे आया तो हजारों और जुड़ गए। रेडियो मेवात, सरोजा सुंदरराजन, आकाश राघवन और रोहन रे, भारत के महावीर, इंडिया's selfless heroes.
Wow, that's really inspiring. That's very, very inspiring. Very proud to know you. And it's an honor to have you on this panel today. Yes, it brings back to the cornerstone of the definition of Generation C, that is bonded by values, interests, and sharing. And that's precisely what you have been doing and using technology to do that. So staying connected is one of the features. So wonderful. Thanks a lot, Shrey. Thanks for being here with us. And
Thank you.
it was really an honor and pleasure talking to you.
The pleasure was
Today,
mine. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. So we have the next speaker, Abhijit. Abhijit, again, is a sports enthusiast, and he has been using technology and he has been using sports as a tool to inspire, motivate people, build their teams, and increase their productivity. He is a co-chair of CII Young India Initiative in Bangalore, and his pioneering work in this space has seen a lot of positive outcomes in the Bangalore chapter of CI India Young India Initiative. So Abhijit, welcome aboard. Nice to have you with us. So can you please share us how you have used technology in your journey so far?
First of all, thank you, Natarajan sir. It's been a while since we've spoken. Yeah, and obviously a lot of changes. I see, you've grown the beard and the ponytail and stuff. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. So obviously the pandemic, I think as Shrey mentioned earlier, pandemic hasn't been easy for a lot of us. It's been quite taxing, both physically, mentally, emotionally. And I am someone who really enjoys being in the outdoors. I'd like to think that my house, the room that I'm in, is for sleeping, showering, and shitting. These are the three S's that I try to keep. That I try to keep my room for. So I'm more of that. I think my whole thing with technology has been, yes. I mean, technology. I mean, people were talking about introducing technology for remote working for a long time. I think COVID has speeded the process up or rather sped the process. It's become a lot faster. People are actually embracing technology more that they have no choice, even though it was going to happen at some point. And I think it's a real test of resilience for most of us, physically, for not contracting the virus to begin with, and also for also for our immunity more than anything else as well. So some of the, I think, through YI Bangalore, which, Bangalore chapter, that what we've had little choice to move to a virtual or hybrid model, and we try to meet as much as we can in any go. But I think most of the sessions have been very similar to the one that we are having right now, which is the fireside chat model, where we try to have it online or virtual, for more people to attend, and the reach has also been quite significant as well. So I think this is, the work from home or the remote working or hybrid working is here to stay. Although we will see some level of going out and actually speaking, or rather seeing people again, at which point the third wave subsides, which I totally expect that to happen. But the whole concept of remote working, I think, has taken a new dimension, so to speak.
Very true, very true. But like you said, the COVID has been a catalyst and sped up the process. But I think we were heading towards that any which ways. IT services entities were having remote working facilities. Now today it has extended to a lot of things, and we couldn't have imagined something like sports having a hybrid model. And we did have this for the Olympics, right? The Olympics still went on, and with a large number of viewers being online and very limited and controlled and contained crowd as spectators, live spectators. So, how do you think the sports arena is going to pan out in this post-COVID or hybrid kind of a situation?
So, if I remember correctly, in March of last year, when the first wave came, everything had just come to a stop. You had, I think Australia tour of, or rather New Zealand versus Australia cricket had stopped. The Premier League had just suddenly stopped, and sports had stopped. I think, personally for me, this is where it took a toll on my mental health, where you don't have anything to see on TV apart from the news, and people are just talking about every day, okay, these many cases, these many deaths, this is the percentage, this is the ratio. It's not a good thing to keep seeing every day, and these many infected, this is what's happening. So I think, having known you, having known Vinay, and for quite a while, the reason why I pick sports is obviously I've been involved with sports, since I was 5-6 years old. But the thing is that, I it wasn't until I was 18, 19 that I realized why sports is important. And if you actually see sports, is that sports and music, if I were to say, are maybe just one or two things that give you a lot of hope. This David versus Goliath thing, it's written in the Bible and all that, but you actually see it happen on a football field, or you see it happen on a cricket field, where you don't really get a lot of chances to really see something like that happening. And it's something that gives people hope. And if I think other panelists have shared videos as well, but I'm not going to share a video. I'm going to tell you what happens in the video, where so in Manchester, the blast happened, the terrorist blast, or whatever you call it, had happened. And I think about 15-20 people passed away in that blast, and they had like a small memorial service. I think it's on BBC, where you can see it on BBC News. So suddenly, I'm just watching, I'm just seeing the news, and then somebody from the back, right at the back, wearing sunglasses, holding a bouquet of flowers, suddenly they just start singing "Don't Look Back in Anger" by Oasis. And that's like the goosebumps thing that comes on the top of your neck, when you start seeing. And in I think the stanza, everybody just starts singing the chorus together, everybody around that, including the cops and everybody. And
Yeah.
so "Don't Look Back in Anger" was a song written by Oasis when I think when Manchester United lost the Premier League to, I
Sure.
think, Blackburn Rovers or something like that. It was that song that gave people hope. And I think what Oasis, the guy, was saying was that people go back to the same old thing,
Right.
where what is the thing that gives you hope. So I think that's important. Sports,
Important.
I think it's
Yes.
important to give people hope at these, that you can do it, you can come through COVID, and even if
So
you've
the
tested
COVID,
positive. Yeah,
yeah. So sorry. So the David Goliath example which you used is not
yeah,
just the physical thing. It's also fighting your internal demons, right? You are
absolutely,
so it is not just the physical thing where a puny little man is fighting a giant and winning, but it is also you're fighting your demons inside your head and conquering them. So sports
absolutely.
provides that hope. Provides that hope. So coming to that brings me to the next question. Like you have used sports and sporting events as motivators, as team building activity, as helping teams achieve their goals. So I would like to know how you've been doing that and how do you do this in the hybrid model?
Okay, so if picking out certain, I what I do is I cherry pick certain sports examples that have
Mm,
happened. Specifically for India, I wasn't born then, but when they won the 1983 World Cup, under
yeah,
Kapil Dev,
yeah,
and it just kicked off the whole thing of cricket just kicked off, and people actually
yes,
started looking at cricket as a career. I think that was one thing. The thing is, the reason why people turn to sport, I think, is primarily this. If you see, Nelson Mandela used it for after he won the elections. He was released from prison. He went and he stood for elections. He became president of South Africa,
yes,
and to blur the racial lines, I think he embraced rugby as a sport. And I think, yeah, there's a movie and stuff. People can watch it.
true,
But so I think my premise of sport, I think, starts there, where you
okay,
inspire people using this whole David versus Goliath thing, and where, like you rightly said, fight their internal demons. What it gives you hope, like, okay, what, this happened. Rishabh Pant hit the winning runs, they beat Australia, half the squad was injured, and why, what am I sitting and doing here? I
yeah,
can actually do this. So moving it to an online or hybrid model, obviously, because you can't go out, you engage with sport like that, even if it's just
yes,
talking about it or writing about it, like what we are doing right now, right?
yes,
So I think I think engaging with people, bringing out the larger community. It can be something as simple as having a quiz, getting them passionate, getting them interested, getting them excited about something, right? Getting so I am I'm part of the Bangalore Spurs. We Tottenham Hotspur fans in Bangalore, and not that there aren't many of us actually. So so what we do is, we did some quizzes and all that. How do you get to know your club better, right? You can also gauge, okay, is this guy a real fan, not a real fan, by asking a bunch of simple questions and things like that, right? So it just so happens that brands like White Owl, like Simba, your alcohol beverage brands,
yes,
are kind of interested in actually engaging with fans like us, right? Who are really really passionate about the club we support, the sport we love, the sport we play. So that is something that I've been looking at doing. We've been doing in the hybrid space, as you obviously know quite well.
yes,
Coming to the sportscast, the podcast specifically, I think what I try to do here is try to get people just interested in sport. I think that's at bare minimum. There are people like me who love sport but can't play sport, but try to give back to sport. And
yes,
for people like me, and some of us who really don't, who had some kind of injury, who cannot play. So I have a shoulder injury which I cannot play tennis, right? So what do I do to give back to tennis? right? Or can I take up coaching, or can I start a business that connects athletes, or whatever it is, right? The second thing is that I think there are people like Shika Tandon, Hakimuddin, Reshma, Karthik, Tarun Apanna. I think these people who have actually represented the country in sport, and all Arjuna awardees, and people don't know them or who've forgotten about them, who their stories really deserve to be told. And if people listen to the stories that people like Shika Tandon have to say, you'll realize, I mean, how really inspiring. I mean, what it really takes for you to have that one moment of glory in the Olympics.
Yes.
So so the calculation of the sportscast was something like that, and the calculation also
Wonderful.
came for 35 minutes. The calculation was that in Bangalore, I stay in Kormangla. To go to Indiranagar, it takes 35 minutes. To go to Central Business District, it takes 35 minutes if I get it to my car. So I can listen to it while I drive or while
One
I'm in the
podcast.
cab.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
that's
That's very, very nice.
yeah.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
See, Abhijit, you have been very active in the theatre space in Bangalore, right? You are part
Yeah.
of PLT, and you have used theatre as a tool for therapy. You have used theatre as a tool for motivation, tool for personality building, right? So that has been the in-person world, if you can call it. So how do you feel that would work now, and have you been using that too in the hybrid model?
So I will again cherry pick an example for you, something that we actually tried. But
Right?
I'll before I get there, a little bit about theater actually, and
Yeah,
it's not as simple as what Clint Eastwood says. He just says, "Oh, you go in front of the camera, say a few lines, hit a few marks,
yeah,
and what's the big problem?" It's not as simple as that, let me tell you. And theater that way is a lot more challenging, because if you forget your lines, then
yeah.
you're screwed,
You
right?
have no
So
retakes.
yeah. So if you forget your lines, it's happened to me so many times. I've forgotten monologues and all kinds of things I've forgotten on stage, where people have run from backstage and bailed me out. It's happened so many times.
And the
So
tomatoes
I
and
think
the eggs are real. The tomatoes
tomatoes
and the
and
eggs are
eggs.
real, are
The good
real. They
thing is
hit you.
people. Yeah, I mean the tomatoes and eggs come in the form of what people say.
Yeah,
Yeah. You forgot your line. Yes, I got it. I was seeing the script. I was sitting in the back. All that happens. Yes, I've. So I think what the reason why I try to push people to do theater, irrespective of pandemic, no pandemic, and all that, is I won't be able to speak with you today if it wasn't for theater. I'm able to speak in a monotone, a baritone, and the reason I'm able to speak to you like this is because of what training I've got. It's not training again. It's surrounding yourself with those people.
mm-hmm.
I have to give a big shout out to Mr. Vijay Padaki, who is he's the grand old man of theater. He's
Yes,
85 years old. He's 85, and he still like does theater. And I can only imagine I can only imagine
yeah,
if I do live to that age, right? So that is, I think what I try to tell people, the reason I push them in is, one, obviously improve your communication, your monotone baritones and all that. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is teamwork. If there is, and I think this cuts back into sports a little bit as well. Even if you play individual sports, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic will be nowhere without their support staff. Those people who you see in the
very true.
Wimbledon box, your Roger Federer will be nowhere without Marian Vaida, or his coaches. He'll be nowhere without these people, right? So I say theater. You have to work with people who you don't like. There will be people you don't like to work with, because they cut your lines, and they say their line before your line, and all of these things happen. So you have to learn how to live with it. You have
Yeah,
to learn, because at the end of the day, people have paid money to come and watch you perform, right?
yeah,
So yeah, and the thing is that if you and I are on stage, and I forget my line, I forget what I have to say, then you have to jump in and
you have to
say
jump in,
whatever line you have
cover
to,
it
or
up.
you have to
Yeah,
do something, right?
yeah,
So it's not easy that way. And like I said, not easy as what Clint Eastwood says. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So I try to push people to do it because it builds teamwork. It builds very, very serious teamwork, and people really, really gel as a group that the way I've never seen before. That is one thing. The second thing is that looking at it from the hybrid perspective, I think there are a lot of things that are happening. One form of plays is actually the rehearsed reading, where you just read a script and do it in like the way that you would do it on stage, but it's just people sitting on chairs and just reading, right? So the thing is that I picked out a script and I tried these voice exercises, and I gave it to all of my colleagues, and I said, okay, do ooh, ooh, hail people, and do all of that, right, to help you speak better for starters. And then we all read a script together, right? We all read a script together, and we read the script. We didn't complete the script because obviously our teamwork had to improve there, but we didn't complete the script. But I think it brings people together. I think anything that brings people together gives them hope. I think theater is actually one of those, and these are the ones that I have discovered so far. I'm pretty sure there are many more that actually people can use, but I've discovered theater and music, sports as these things that actually inspire, bring people together, etc. So
and stay connected, and that's the topic of the day, Generation C, staying connected because of common interests, common hobbies, value systems, and yes, using technology to stay connected. So that's wonderful, Abhijit. A lot of insights from you, and thanks for having you with us. And
thank you, very grateful.
And the viewers want to reach out to Abhijit or Shrey, you can always reach out on the call buttons which are there below the screen, which you're seeing. And it was nice having you, Shrey and Mary, with us. Thank you very much, and thanks to Sai, who has been the IT technology support for this entire show. Thank you, Sai, and have a good day, all of you.
Welcome to the demo of Impulse, a holistic employee engagement solution for your team. Connect, align, motivate, and empower employees to build a truly engaged culture, all through one integrated platform. Let's get started. Upon signing in, the user is directed to get a personalized view of the home screen, which is tailored to an individual's actions, unique profile, and role within the team. The home screen gives a quick snapshot of everything that includes office updates, trending posts, pending surveys, group conversations, upcoming birthdays, and anniversaries. The stream of posts helps to stay up to date with every information that matters. Building a great culture is a shared responsibility of everyone in an organization. Therefore, helpful nudges provided through recommendations guide all employees to play their part in it. To reduce the amount of time spent on housekeeping, the platform admins get easy access to view all critical or progress blocking items at the top of the homepage. Examples include adding R&R budgets, managing approvals, or reviewing other requests from the team. This ensures the smooth functioning of the engagement, actionable to be taken from one common place. Let's now dig deeper into each engagement area. The Town Hall under the Connect menu is a virtual space for team-wide discussions and announcements. Sharing org-wide communication on the Town Hall group helps every teammate who is a part of the group to get access to the information they need to know, be it the latest company news, internal policies, business updates, sales wins, or any other organizational broadcasts. Collective decisions can be made by encouraging all to give constructive feedback, setting up a poll, crowdsource agenda items for an upcoming meeting, ideas for a team event, and much more. This space can be used to give a shout out and greet colleagues on their work anniversaries, birthdays, welcome a new joiner on his day one, and other important milestones of an employee's life cycle. Spark up every celebration and contest by sharing photos and videos. Be a part of every event and celebrate wherever you are, remote, office, or at home. An important part of bringing employees together is having a space to find common ground. Use groups to promote different interests, build alignment, and foster a culture of trust and transparency. Create groups to capture and share related content. Access can be given to everyone in the company or restricted to a subset of people. Create groups based on interests, projects, locations, or anything that brings together a set of people with shared pursuits or objectives. Examples include sales and marketing sync, release planning, book reading club, talent corner, cycling enthusiasts, etc. Groups make it easier for teams to collaborate freely and openly in a shared space. It simplifies access to all critical work communication in one place and democratizes access to everyone who needs it. This also reduces some challenges like email clutter, keeping everyone on the same page, etc. Build a culture of appreciation and gratitude through rewards, social recognition, and peer-to-peer appreciations. Encourage desired employee behavior by linking appreciation to organizational values. This aids to reinforce the sort of behaviors you need to help your business thrive and grow. How to appreciate a colleague or give an award? Once configured, awards can be given out and values can be linked and tagged while appreciating others directly within a group. This can be achieved by clicking on Appreciate within the new conversation box of any group and adding the rest of the details. Alternatively, it can directly be given by clicking Share Appreciation under the Appreciation tab on the navigation. Instant and in-the-moment appreciation helps drive positive behaviors by making sure it is timely. The Give Awards option can be explored for giving out any kind of monetary awards, and possibly that can include multiple levels of approvals. A step-by-step process is followed to select the award recipient and the award. Adding citation or justification for giving the award helps the approver to make the right decisions while approving or declining an award approval request. Teams get involved in healthy competition with the leaderboard. Monthly winners are highlighted and tracked. Employees earn points for displaying the right behaviors such as active participation, congratulating, and appreciating their colleagues. Karma points can be configured to encourage the display of desired behavior driven right, for example, sharing constructive feedback, appreciating colleagues, living by the organizational values, and participating in other engagement programs is cascaded across the organization through the points earned and visible each time. Employees can redeem their reward points on a collection of 20,000 plus catalog options like gift cards, perks, benefits, and experiences. Budgets can be used to manage spends on an organization's rewards and recognition programs. Budgets to specific awards can be linked depending on each use case. Predefined budget can be allocated department-wise. The amount to be given and the person to whom the budget needs to be allocated can be specified too. Measurement is the first step that leads to control and eventually to improvement. Employee engagement surveys help to understand the current level of engagement across the organization. Once a baseline has been established, actions to make continuous progress on engagement goals can be planned well. Gather feedback. Use surveys to gather feedback at different stages of the employee lifecycle from onboarding to exit. These surveys are open-ended and can be configured as per your company. Create surveys from predefined templates based on the inputs from industry experts, or build it from scratch based on your own need. Gather data across the moments that matter and consistent progress towards one's goals can be made. Send it to as few as one person or a group of audiences based on metadata like location, department, designation, grade, and so on. There wouldn't be a need to curate email lists each time. The responses can be filtered based on the metadata and the questions can be altered as per needed. Measure engagement. Measuring engagement for your entire team is critical, and Impulse makes it easy with the eNPS and Employee Pulse surveys. These surveys have been designed by psychologists and data scientists at SHRM, a global association of HR experts, to help you get from insights to action and drive meaningful change. Most importantly, a cadence can be established for periodic measurement of employee engagement using the eNPS or Employee Pulse survey. The eNPS survey is a one-question, lightweight survey to quickly and effectively measure the current level of engagement in a team. The participant answers are collected anonymously to elicit truthful responses, and the simplicity of administration ensures high participation rates. The level of engagement across the team can be gauged with this simple but time-tested measure used by foremost organizations across the world. The employee responses can be sliced and diced by departments, locations, and other parameters to identify the specific pockets that need attention and can be acted upon. When you're ready to dig deeper, the Employee Pulse survey builds on the eNPS survey and provides richer insights into the areas of improvement. A set of 15 deep dive questions along with the eNPS question helps to identify the key improvement areas. Get a bird's eye view of the interdepartmental comparison or metrics with the heat map chart. Or use filters to pinpoint areas of concern and address them by taking targeted corrective actions. Every organization is unique, and the account administration and settings sections give you the ability to configure things based on your needs. Under the account administration section, use the user management page to manage who gets access to Impulse. Extend new invitations to new team members or revoke access from those who don't need it anymore. With the Manage Org Budgets, get centralized control over your organizational budget for rewards and recognition. Create or remove points on the system and allocate them across departments, all from one common place. The Awards, Values, and Gifts page gives the capability to create different kinds of awards: bot awards, peer-to-peer awards, nomination-based, or awards with restrictions. Define and create organizational value cards and automated or instant gifts for any celebratory events in the life of a team member. Automations come in handy by helping to automate repetitive actions. Distribution of budgets or greeting users on their birthday or work anniversary may be automated. Once configured, team members are automatically notified on the day of the event and encouraged to participate in wishing their colleagues. The account settings section can be used to customize platform-wide settings. Use branding and customization to select one of the pre-configured themes for the platform, or create one from scratch to align it with company-specific brand colors. With access controls, define the level of access for different user groups based on their specific needs. Use the billing and subscription page to manage the current subscription tier and to review past invoices or make outstanding payments. Finally, use integrations to connect with other productivity tools like MS Teams, Slack, Facebook Workplace that your team is using already. Enable two-way sync of data to ensure one has the control no matter which product you are using. Get a bird's eye view of the overall performance of the engagement programs using the Reports section. Keep track of the current status of the R&R budgets with the live status reports. Click on any information element to get to details at the line item level. These reports are configured in a fashion to simplify accounting, financial reporting, and taxation-related needs. The rewards and recognition reports help to understand how effectively reward budgets are being used across the organization. Use filters to get into deeper details by departments across different time horizons. At any time, this data can be used for further analysis locally. Use the Data section to download this information as a CSV file and run your analysis. Impulse is a unified hub that assists you with whatever you need to build a happy and engaged workforce. Impulse can be used on the web or easily downloaded on Android or iOS devices.